Welcome to the Business Administration Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business Administration Podcast. I'm Dr. Leslie Sukup, and today we will be chatting about spiritual resilience. Now, spiritual resilience is essentially your sense of self-being and purpose that is often established through a set of spiritual beliefs, principles, or values. One way that I like to think of spiritual resilience is from a scene in the movie City Slickers. So you have Curly and you have Billy Crystal's character. They're riding a horse through the western United States. And Curly asks Billy Crystal's character, "Do you know what the secret to life is?" And Billy Crystal's character is very inquisitive and says, "No, what?" So Curly then goes on to hold up his finger and he says, "This." And of course, it's a comedy. So Billy Crystal goes on to ask, "Your finger?" And then Curly says, "One thing, just one thing. Stick to that, and everything else don't mean crap." Billy Crystal then goes on to ask Curly, "Well, that's great, but what's that one thing?" And Curly says, "Well, that's what you got to figure out." And I love that because spiritual resilience is very individual. It's going to be different for all of us. I have one meaning of spiritual resilience. Everyone I'm around is going to have a different vision of what that one thing is. And it doesn't have to be religious. It's going to be that one thing that if you were on a desert island in the middle of nowhere, what is that one thing that's going to help you get through it until you're rescued and you're off that island? And that's going to be different for each and every one of us. One of the ways that we can help influence our spiritual resilience to be strong is to think of a spiritual reminder. Now, this is either a word, a short phrase. Sometimes it could be a picture, but this is going to be something that you use when the going gets tough. And we know in life it's not just easy street. There's going to be times when we have roadblocks, we have some speed bumps, we have obstacles and adversity that gets thrown our way. But the key is we can tap into our internal perseverance, our internal grit, our internal spiritual resilience by saying this word or this phrase or looking at a picture or thinking of that picture in your head. This can be very powerful. Once you hear that or see it, depending upon what your spiritual reminder is, that will be a way of recentering you and tapping into that inner courage and strength to persevere and get through that adversity, that roadblock or obstacle in your way. It's very powerful. And I think this is one of the stress management techniques that probably doesn't get a lot of attention, but it can be so powerful in our lives. especially once you discover what that one thing is for you. Another item that helps with building your spiritual resilience is what I like to call your board of directors. And this is something that can help you. They can help remind you. They can be influential in maybe some of your decision making. They can be those confidants to where when you have a heavy load on your shoulders, there's someone who's going to be there. They're dependable. They'll listen to you, really listen and empathize with the situation. Maybe give you some pointers, but maybe you just need to get what you're feeling and experiencing off your chest, and they're there for that. But the spiritual board of directors are people that you trust normally. They help to influence you, inform your perspectives. Now, it is potentially possible, well, it is possible, to have negative influences on your board of directors. And the reason I say this is you may not be going to them for or sharing with them, but they are there because they're an example of how not to be or who not to emulate. It could be a bad leader. It could be a friend that let you down. And they're there as that reminder of how not to be, how to live your life better, how to keep tapping into your strength to move on. Because that's really what we want. We want that inner courage, that strength to be called upon when times are tough. And our spiritual board of directors, whether they're the positive influences or the negative influences, are going to be there to help you, along with that spiritual resilience reminder. So as you go through life, as you learn more about yourself, try to narrow down what that one thing is for you. And it may change over time, but oftentimes it's pretty stable. I know for me, throughout my life, it's been very stable. And I know that when stuff hits the fan, I can lean upon my spiritual reminder to tap into that spiritual resilience, that one thing that means so much to me, that centers me, gives me meaning. And I know that I'll be able to power through whatever adversity that I'm experiencing. So give it a shot. Try to figure out what that one thing is for you. Maybe you've already got it. Well, then think of a spiritual reminder that you can use when things start getting tough. And maybe give your board of directors a look. I mean, these are people that are around you, and they're pretty important in your life. Maybe you've given it some thought, maybe not. But now is a good time to review who is there and start thinking, well, do I really want these people to be on my board of directors? Do I want them to influence my perspectives and my views and help nurture my values? Until the next time, stay safe and stay well.